everyone, and welcome to day 3 of the Lady Arcaders Game Development Jam, aka Lag Jam. My name is Tozzle, and I will be your host as we welcome the Lag Jam teams back for one final update before the game submission deadline tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. On yesterday's recap, we learned about creating good lag, using sheets to map out level design, manipulating objects in 3D, and that one cannot simply walk through boxes. It was a joy to share the game development experience yesterday, and I highly recommend that everyone check out the VOD if you are unable to catch us live. For those of you who are new to this channel, Lady Arcaders is an all women's gaming collective that runs weekly showcases and the occasional charity event. We strive to uplift and encourage women in their gaming endeavors by cultivating a supportive environment in which to showcase their talents. And for those of you who are new to the Game Jam scene, a Game Jam is an event where groups of people of varying skill levels in graphic design, programming, writing, music composition, and you name it come together to work on making a game from scratch. The theme for Lady Arcader's Game Development Jam is lag. Teams have taken lag as a concept literally or figuratively and used it to guide their game creations. On tonight's show, 5 teams will be joining me on the mic to discuss the status of their game's development. These teams have been tirelessly working since 10 a.m. on Thursday morning, a mere 59 hours ago. They have until tomorrow, Sunday, November 17th at 8 p.m. to submit their games for the final showcase. The final showcase will then be streamed live at 9 p.m. Eastern that same evening here on the Lady Arcaders channel. During this final showcase, all submitted games will be featured to be played by 3 wonderful members of the Lady Arcaders community. Yesterday, we got some very fun updates from Team Compact Qualia on Look, a Game. Both Miss Des Games and Mia have returned one last time to share their progress. It's lovely to have you both back on the show. How was day 3 of game development?
Day 3 has been going wonderfully so far. We hit some snags, as everybody does when making a game, but we've pushed through. Right now, we are actually starting to set up the final layout and positioning of items and objects for the apartment that the game takes place in. So I thought it would be fun to actually show people how we actually add an item to our world.
This is great.
So right now we have this lovely bathroom here that Miss Des has made for us. We've got our shower, our toilet, and our sink. Everything you need. But there's other things that a good bathroom needs to have. If you're familiar with people, a lot of us have hair. They make brushes for that now. So we're going to add a hairbrush to our bathroom. So we're looking up our item spot scene. We are loading in our new item spot node, which is a custom made node that has a placeholder, and we can set it to be any item we've made that we want. And we can also eventually have it pick a random item as well if we desire that behavior. So you can see it's kind of tricky working in 3D space, and this has been really the slowest part of when I'm setting up these spaces. Des is so swift with this stuff. It's amazing to watch her like set up the furniture and placing it, but you can see because we're in 3 dimensions, I have to wiggle a lot and move things around. Um, So yeah, we've got an item spot place now. So we know we want this to be a hairbrush. So we will type in hairbrush. We've got our interactable object hairbrush, and we can grab our resource file and drag it right into our starting item slot. And we know it's a small item. We're working on streamlining that to thing and eventually having it be a tool script that kind of just automates that process. Um, so we've got our item here. So now I'm going to actually open up our game and do a little walkthrough. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, here's something I need to ask though, because I don't quite understand. If I switch my window right now without stopping my stream, is that going to mess things up?
Well, let's do it and see what happens.
Fantastic. I'm going to click change windows. Can people see that?
I can see it. Looks good.
Fantastic. This is what we have for look a game.
Woohoo!
Oh, okay. Oh, it crashed. Oh wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, wow. All right, perfect. Let's pop into our script and I am going to change windows. Um back to our code window. So let's solve a bug in real time.
I love
Um,
this. This is great.
yeah. So one thing we just found out while we were waiting to go live is I forgot to take this database here. Um, and now we were trying to spawn a hairbrush. Let me make sure that see, here's our problem. I put in hairbrush and it was hairbrush. So I'm going to reload. And now it loads. So I'm going to reshare the game window.
Yep, just a rogue underscore, folks.
hmm Yep, that
All
can
it
be
takes.
like, yep. And actually, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to just turn off collision. This is a very
Very cool.
helpful if you're working in Godot. Under the debug window, there's a checkbox for visible collision shape. So if you're trying to figure out issues with collision, that is a fantastic little button to click. Okay, we are back. Look, a game. So now that
Woo!
we've solved that issue, we can see, we can start to walk around. And we can see our hairbrush right here. And we can
Yay!
click it. And now we've got it here. And let's take our hairbrush. We might
Ooh.
need that later. Uh, and let's just walk around and explore the place a little. Like you can see, it'll take you on a tour. There's the bed. I think everybody saw that yesterday. Got a bag, if you need to hold even more stuff.
It's totes a bag.
Yeah, it is.
Ooh, look at this. There's a lot more in here than yesterday.
hmm Yeah, there's a nice microwave. Um, what I love is like this flower vase right here. Like, look at this. It's great to bring flowers to a party, so I'm gonna take that. But it would be really rude actually to take flowers and not bring a vase. So let's take that too.
Oh, that's incredible. Does the
So yeah,
inventory work yet? Are you able to click and see your inventory?
let's go back in time and have you not ask me that question, and we'll just
Okay,
move
no
on.
problem.
Um, yeah,
What inventory? I've never heard of
no,
that.
pay no attention to the bottom right of the stream window. And you'll see this is fun. I wanted to put kind of old school adventure game controls so you can actually fully control the movement by just clicking the left and right
I like that a lot.
buttons. Um, yeah. So that is a basic demonstration of things. There's one more. There's also some really hard to find items right here. Like we've got our coins. So
That's great.
we'll need that. And oh, so there's like 28 minutes left roughly, and I'm feeling pretty prepared, so I think I'll just head out. Anyway, uh, yeah, bye.
Bye. That's a
And I'll,
that's quite the entrance.
uh, I'm not
Or
sure if I
exit
broke the.
rather.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's good. We're back.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So that's a tour of what we got done. It's been like wonderful. Des and I've been like pushing so hard all day. Um, but yeah. If anybody did want to ask any questions, or did you have anything you wanted to share specifically talk about too?
Not. I I've just been kind of cranking on models all day. I've done 3 while we were waiting to go live here.
That's unbelievable. That was only like 15 minutes, so you're really rolling. I have a couple questions if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, knowing what you know now on day 3 of the lag jam, is there anything you would have changed how you approach day 1 of this event?
Mhm. That is a tough question. I'm not sure if I really have an answer. I'd have to think back later on, but like it's always so unpredictable because like one thing I love to do, like I had to finish my work day that first day, so I was doing a lot of physical diagrams,
Mhm.
and there were so many things where we get in, we start actually coding, and it's like this doesn't work at all. This like doesn't make any sense, and having to restart. Um, so I think yeah, it's unpredictable really. I don't know, Des, can you think of anything? I'm having a hard time coming up with a specific example for that right now.
Uh, I would have gotten the day off of work if I could have.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the
Oh,
only
That's
thing I would
sweet.
have done differently.
it's like IRL getting in the way of the things that you actually wanna do.
Yep.
Um, so I know we talked about potentially having, doors yesterday. What are you hoping to have ready for tomorrow before you submit? What's your goal?
I think at this point, our goal, if doors happen, that's fantastic. Our goal is to get the actual base gameplay loop implemented. So you can turn this on, press start, and there is actually a gameplay loop, some events happening. There's more than just taking the items, and there's an actual end state. I think in terms of getting all the final features we'd like to have, we would like to have, you know, just something we can call a gameplay experience, and then something we can keep going back to after the jam is over to improve upon.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited for this. I loved since you've been on since day 1, we've seen the progression and it's been really a joy to watch it change day by day. I know this isn't something that you get to see in a lot of game jams, so it's been like you feel like you're part of your team really when you get to see more of like the sidelines cheering, of course, because you're doing all the actual work, but it feels like we're part of your team because we get to see everything that you've been working on. So it's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, I will ask my question that I've been asking every day. What do you think was one of your like? Would you like to highlight one of your wins or successes from today's work? What would you like to share that was a feel good moment for today?
Was so excited when we finally got the item spot system functioning. So basically, the way we're placing the items, I showed in the 3D world, we have these. And before, everything was just a blue cube. That's what we showed off yesterday. And now, our item spot has all of these things where you can select a size and select our starting item, drag that in just like I showed off in the world, and it will actually load the model and automatically adjust itself. So now we've got these things, we've got these rough item size references. We're setting the resource, setting up the object, and then the interactable object is taking the resource, and it's setting it as an object. It's getting a reference to the mesh. It's getting its AABB, which I'm not mathematically smart enough to know what that means exactly, but it's something something. You get the size. We're making a new box shape, making a new collision shape, custom setting the mesh and the collider at runtime. So that way, every single item is perfectly positioning its bottom point at the midpoint of the item spot marker. So now we can go in and start actually going in this world and adding objects. And we're getting faster at that all the time, too. And part of the success of that is because of Des, because she has an amazingly efficient workflow with making these low poly objects and also was able to figure out the OBJ issue, which is like the file type. So now we can add that file type to the resource, our interactable object resource. We've got this, our OBJ file, and that assigns it into the mesh, and it just smoothly works right now, as long as I remember to do that part where I go into the database and properly type in or copy in the name of the file.
That's
Um,
amazing, actually. I totally had forgotten it's only been 24 hours, and I was talking about the little blue boxes yesterday, and it was so efficient that I had completely forgot that the blue boxes were even a thing, and now it's like we've a realized system. This is amazing. It's great.
yeah, yeah, thank you. It's
A
been like wonderful.
and you know something else that I'm noticing that I would love to highlight is the fact, 1, we have a floor now, and the light reflects off the floor in the other room. And here, see, look at the light. It's reflecting off the ceiling and the floor. That's great.
That is also thanks to Des. She has pushed so hard at learning Blender and is exporting lighting. Like, I did not expect us to have anything more than just a single world light. And it has been a treat to see the stuff that she's come up with and seeing the light reflecting off. Like, wow, lighting! Oh my gosh, you know.
It's great.
Um,
Very exciting. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I know we're under 24 hours now, but it's incredible what you've gone day by day. So I look forward to playing it myself.
thank you. We look forward to having you play it.
Yay. So
Yeah,
I Oh yeah,
we're
go for it.
really, really
Sorry.
close, it feels like, to having just about everything that we need for the gameplay loop. We've got a few more parts of the inventory system to get in and the notification system, but uh, it's real close. Very, very exciting. And I put in a new phone model today. I was excited about that.
That's awesome. Well, thank you both. I really appreciated you coming on and showing where you're at. I wish you best of luck for completing your game today and tomorrow. And again, I look forward to playing it. So, we are going to have a brief intermission while we set up our next team in the studio. So, please take this time for some self care, but stay tuned as the Lag Jam event recap. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Lady Arcaders and day 3 of the Lag Jam nightly event recap. Teams have been tirelessly working since 10 a.m. on Thursday morning and only have until tomorrow, Sunday, November 17th at 8 p.m. to submit their games for the final showcase. We're in the home stretch now, folks. With that said, I'd like to welcome back Charbunny and Lady Mel from Team 101.7, the Team FM. How are we doing tonight?
Doing great. Your radio voice keeps getting better and better each time. I'm having so much fun. I'm happy to be here. Mel, how are you doing today?
I feel much like a sliding glass door, unhinged.
Yeah.
Yeah, day 3 of the game jam. We're definitely starting to feel it a little bit, but pretty excited about what we have to show everyone today. So just to remind everyone, you are listening to 101.7 The Team FM featuring Char, Mel, MJ, Snowball, and Tora. For today, me and Mel, I'm Char. Excited to be here with you. As a reminder, our game that we're working towards is Lesbians, Androids, Guns, which is an RPG where you get to explore and help out some androids that are all kind of losing it a little bit. So we're glad we're able to help bring them back in, help cheer them up, all of those sorts of things. Now, to kick off today, we're just going to go right into our demo. Bear with me because I've got to switch screens in order to make that work. And this is only my 4th time doing that. 3 of those times have been today. So we'll see if I can get this to work. All right. And I want this one. All right. In theory, you should now be seeing a little tiny android and a little tiny storage room. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, that's what I see.
Oh, let's go. All right, so this is what's been making me laugh all day. Tozzle, in your intro, you talked about how we've learned that you cannot walk through boxes because we made a point to clarify that yesterday.
Yep.
I will say
One
that
does not simply walk through boxes.
you might still be able to walk through boxes today. but it means you can go over here and visit one of the newest items added to our game, the bunny slipper. The bunny slipper is one of the least consequential items in the entire game, which is why it is currently inaccessible off map. But I just want to start by telling everyone this. But it kind of sounds, sorry. I have a favorite item in the game, in case that's not obvious. But what I wanted to show you today is that we've kind of looked at this yesterday. You kind of got a sneak peek at the fact that we now have maps you can move around. This is our storage room. But this is kind of our day for things really coming together. So we're going to take a quick tour of some other locations, and you'll even start to hear background music in some of them. So right now we're in the storage room, which actually does have a sound effect. Oh, look at that. Music in the background.
Ooh.
Little light, ominous feeling. Credits to Snowball for the music on this one to sort of ease us into the game, into this concept that we've just woken up and we're not entirely sure what's going on. But as we head into our next area, things might kick it up a notch. So let's go over here. Now we're in our mainframe. See a little bit more music kicking in. Go over here, visit Mackenzie. Hi, Mackenzie. And you'll see that we may have a new item. Oh, I apologize, my cursor's been in the way. We have a new item here. It says Altoids, if anyone remembers those when they were orange. That might be something that's interesting and important for our game. So we could pick those up, potentially give them to our character, but we're going to explore a little bit further. Right now, this room's pretty open, not too hard to navigate. What if we went one layer deeper? This one still is placeholder, but you can see now that we've got maybe some other item options that we can start to explore and pick up. I'm not entirely sure what a magnet does to a CRT television. I don't know if it's good or not, so I guess you'll have to play the game and find out what happens if you pick up that item. But for today's little showcase, we're actually going to go over here to a new area. I don't think we've shown this one on stream before. This is our archive room. You can see that maybe it's seen better days. Maybe there's a few things around here that are starting to fall apart. But hey, we've got a new item. Look at this cute little rubber duck. It's very adorable. We like this one a lot. Let's say that we picked up this duck and gave it back to our character Mackenzie. That's where we start to get some dialogue. And so this is a sneak peek of what dialogue might look like in the game using some of our placeholders. So Cordelia says, she did say she wanted something radical, and well, this duck is pretty cool. Mackenzie, whoa, what do you have there? This little dude is the bomb. He's what? What kind of nefarious individual would hide a bomb inside a defenseless duck? Don't have a cow, man. The duck is wicked cool, you get me? No need to bug out. Oh, sorry about that. I mean, it is a pretty cool duck, you're right. Word. As cool as this duck is, giving it to Mackenzie didn't seem to achieve anything. Maybe it's just not radical enough to bring her back to her senses? So we tried something, we found an item, didn't quite work, but that was not the only item available, so there might have been something else around here that could have helped, I'll jump over here, could have helped Mackenzie sort of come back to her senses, maybe break a little bit further out of the 90s. But there we go. That's our little demo for today, showing our character moving around, showing some of the items in the world, and starting to give a taste of the dialogue. A little bit more lines reveals for Mackenzie's characterization here. Credits to MJ for the lines, and of course to Mel for building out the demo. It's been really exciting to see everything come together.
This is amazing. Can you show me, Char? Can you walk through the server stacks right now?
Whee!
No comment.
Nice.
Look, right now, at this stage in the game jam, canonically, our main character Cordelia is a ghost. And as of tomorrow, Cordelia will no longer have ghostly powers, so, we'll figure that out. But honestly, the fact that we were able to bring so many things together is what's been so exciting for today. Like, this is a pretty straightforward moving around the map type thing that I just showed you, but what's fascinating is how many different people's work went into just these core areas that we've seen, right? Like placeholders, those are something that I drew out to give us a layout. Snowball came in and put map art on top of that, put the sound effects in. When we go into any of our dialogue scenes, these are the placeholders that were created and that Tora continues to work on. And of course, Mel is that glue in the middle, bringing all of the pieces together so that everything actually turns into a game that other people can play and an experience that we can share with others. So this is the day where all the teamwork really came into one place that we could show you all at once.
I mean, this is great. I know yesterday we were talking about how the doors were causing like the game to crash. Have you resolved the going through doors? Is that a thing now?
You may
It's
notice
on
that
my
there are
to-do
currently no
list.
doors.
Well, no, I meant like not doors.
No, the doors are currently
the
missing.
figurative doors.
The doors will come back later, we promise.
Okay.
But we'll talk a little bit about some of the dev stuff for today. In fact, we can actually come out of the demo now, come back to our slides, and start to get on with some of the other things. But hopefully, people enjoyed this little taste once again of how our work is coming together to really create a playable experience. All right, so
It's
I know
really great. Like it's really great. That music is amazing. I would
know.
listen to that while I worked. Like no questions asked. Like it's great.
Right, the music all showed up like today. It's been fantastic.
It's
All
very
right, I'm going
compelling.
to switch back over to our presentation. Give me one moment for that. All right, it should be switched over to presentation now.
Yep.
So we'll jump back into that screen. All right, so as you may have noticed, there's quite a bit that is coming together, working really, really well. Things are starting to cohesively glue together. But that doesn't mean we didn't run into some obstacles along the way. And so the next section for today's presentation is some lessons learned from the devlog. So Mel, would you like to talk about these?
Absolutely. So just to kind of give everyone a bit of background on me, I only picked up game dev this year. Not terribly long ago. I have 2 solo projects, 1.5 solo projects under my belt. But this is probably the biggest and most ambitious thing I've taken on so far. And I absolutely screwed a bunch of it up. So
The learning
I'm
experience
thinking
for everyone. That's part of how game jams work. So we figured we'd share some of our learnings with everyone out there.
that's
Yeah,
a
I mean, absolutely.
much better way to put it than I was about to. So yes. Did we actually get my bullet points on
Oh
here?
yeah, no, they're just going to animate in fancily one at a time. Definitely do that 5 minutes before we went live. You ready? Bullet point number 1. over-engineered code.
Yeah. So, if any of you remember yesterday, where I may have been going on about how I designed my code, uh, I had a couple of really nice, elegant ideas. Uh, Particularly the dialogue system. I am incredibly proud of that piece of code because it, with only a little bit of formatting of the dialogue lines, it's pretty much able to just take in any amount of dialogue and have it present like that. There's just one teeny tiny little problem with having all of these great, really nice solutions to things, and that is that they take time to code, which is what I don't have. Uh, so as I kind of look back, I definitely lost a decent bit of time as I was trying to get everything to play nicely with each other in a way that felt good. And in a future game jam, I'd probably stick with an adage of if it works, it works.
I think that's a
How
good
about
call
the
there.
next bullet point?
Next one here. Didn't focus on MVP.
So yes, in this case, the minimum viable product. So, kind of back. It kind of loops back into the previous one, but I spent a lot of time making sure that I had all the all the layouts of all the rooms set out. I had them all popping in quite nicely. I was focused on the dialogue. I was focused on the player movement and trying to get the screen transitions to work. Um, what this has led to is me here on Saturday night without a minimum viable product. Uh, so that's my tomorrow's plan after some sleep because I need some. But yeah, um,
There's a great quote in chat right now. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good enough.
That's
I
very
tell
true.
myself that one
I
a lot.
I completely agree. Yep. Um, no, I mean the over-engineered code did not exactly leave me in a bind. Well, because I don't actually have to. I'm not taking this to market on tomorrow. Uh, the but the MVP means I'm going to be rushing throughout the entirety of tomorrow to get this done. Which, if I had started with if I had started with the minimum viable product, I probably could have had that done by then, and we could be working on expanding it. So, in a future game jam, lesson I would take would be start with the minimum and work from there.
Yep, that's a
I
great
think there
lesson.
was I think there
Leave
was
that
actually
score.
a presentation about this earlier, but one of the workshops, I think that was mentioned. But yes, what was bullet point number 3?
3 is overestimated resources.
Yes, so anyone who codes knows that the first thing you do when you start a new project is look at your old projects and see how much code you can steal from them. Uh, I might have slightly overestimated the amount of problems I could solve with code that I had already written. Uh, so I kind of overestimated the amount of, just straight up code resources I had available to me. I overestimated a little bit of my skills because I'm still not that good at this, even though I'm a pretty decent programmer. I've never done a game jam before, and I still have a lot to learn. And also, just I got sucked into some particularly nasty uh, bug fixes that just kept sucking up more and more of this time I don't have. And speaking of time, let's go to my fourth and last bullet point here,
Rushed planning.
which, in a deep bit of irony, was added last minute to the list. Uh, I know that within the spirit of the game jam, I did not come in with a massive plan. I came in with a little bit of a plan, which was pretty much the UML diagram I presented yesterday, but uh, I can definitely tell that there were some points where not having a plan meant that I wound up solving a few problems on the fly, or failing to solve a few problems on the fly, and led to some so solutions is a bit of a strong word here. Attempts that are completely janky and look like crap. And if anyone reads my game character handler code, it's going to look like an absolute bunch of gibberish. So, in the sake of time, I threw most of that out.
Hmm.
But, again, lost time. And in a future game jam, I still probably wouldn't do terribly much that I wouldn't come in with a full plan, but taking a little extra time to think through some of the extra problems I might run into. It'd be a good way to start. But yeah, just for me personally, these are kind of the big lessons I learned from this game jam, and hopefully we'll apply them to more. Because I do very much plan on doing more, because this has been absolutely awesome up and down. Except for everything else that went wrong. But that's a different story.
Yeah,
Thank
this
But
you.
yes, back to you, Charbonnet.
I mean, yeah, this is something where there's definitely been a lot of obstacles along the way. I think it's most of, if not our full team's first time doing an official game jam like this. But that doesn't mean we're not having fun. We did a bit of a check in today in our daily team meeting. And so far, everyone feels like they're getting out of the game jam what they were hoping to and feels like they've been having a pretty good experience. So we're aiming to keep that up going into our last day. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
oh yeah, go ahead.
I just think it's really important to share those lessons learned. So I just want to say thank you, and I'm sure that those lessons resonate not only with the other Game Jam teams, but with the individuals out there watching this. So, it's very important to share and learn from these things that occur, and just being able to talk about them and to reflect definitely will make you stronger for the future. So thank you again for bringing that to this presentation.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mel. Now, I know we've been going a little bit long with the demo and the retrospective. So the last part we're going to keep really short. We're going to try to do a speed run update of a couple different things that we have to share. So you only get max one short question per slide, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, cool. First thing I want to share is areas. You've actually seen two areas in previous presentations. We snuck a third one into the demo, like archive, but I actually have a sneak peek of one more. And as is tradition, it's actually been the background of all of my slides so far. And that is our garden area. This is a brand new one that we all learned about today. By that, I mean Snowball dropped this image in chat like an hour ago when we were meeting, and everyone was like, whoa, this looks awesome. So I was excited to share that one. Some of the details with like the gloves, the lamp, the plants, the rock boundaries, I think looks really cool. Okay, quick reaction, Tozzle, go.
I really love the fourth, and I'm excited that it wasn't just like an X as like a total teaser. So I'm really glad you got to share it. Thank you so much. These look great. Next.
I'm sorry, are you salty about yesterday when I hit our fourth character? All right, moving on. Next thing we want to talk about is characters. This is the placeholder that starts to feel familiar because we've had it for all of 24 hours now. But this is what we shared yesterday. This is what you saw in our dialogue in our game. But I want to share a quick update here as well. Boom! Our characters now have a little bit more personality. You're starting to see some of Cordelia's outfit here, getting a little bit of a sense for her personality, maybe her sense of fashion. And then on the right, Mackenzie now winks at you. Yay!
Ah,
Which is one of my favorite updates of the day. All right, Tozzle, quick reaction, go.
No, this is great. It was so smooth that I didn't even see the transition. It was like magic. You're
Oh,
you're
you want
doing
me
wonderful
to
with
do it
these.
again? Ready?
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh,
Ready?
yep.
Boom.
Awesome.
Oh, look at that.
That's great. Thank you.
I love when I can pretend to be magical by hitting 2 buttons on my keyboard. It makes me feel very powerful.
Oh, it's
All right.
great.
Third and final update for today is some of the sound effects, because I teased sound
Woo!
effects yesterday and there was a little bit of disappointment that we didn't share them. Now, in order to do this, I have to switch to which screen I'm sharing again. So one moment there while I pull up the correct one and make sure that I'm looking at it too. Actually, where did it go? I found it. Good news.
I'm
Sorry, can
really
you tell that
excited
I
that I see door opening there. That makes me really happy.
All right, so I'm going to make sure I'm sharing application audio this time, and hopefully now you should be seeing a program called Audacity. This is a pretty simple, like beginner-friendly sound editor type program. So this is what I've been using to help modify some of the sound effects and give them sort of final touches as we try to pull them into our game. So sound effects that I've shared with you today are the door open that I talked about yesterday. So here's what it sounds like if you open a door in a video game. Ready?
Woo! Very nice.
It's got a whoosh to it. That was the part I was the most excited about. Some other things that we have are some dialogue. So the thing is, we talked about how we're not really going to do voice acting for this, but we did still want there to be personality to each character, right? We really are focused on trying to make these characters come to life with their character designs, with the environment they're in, with the music playing, and as well with the sound effects that go with their dialogue. So each character will sound a little bit different when they speak. Now, it's just one little sound effect at the beginning of the dialogue, but we tried to match them up with characters' personalities. So let's go ahead and listen to Cordelia's. Play it one more time. Cordelia's dialogue is meant to be pretty light, pretty fun, a little bit bubbly, really trying to match her friendly, helpful personality. Now, contrast that with Mackenzie's dialogue and how our slightly 90s unhinged robot sounds. Play it one more time. So
That was a
yeah,
great
that's
description for that sound, by the way.
I'm glad. So that's just another dimension of how we're hopefully trying to bring these characters and their personalities and their, wants and desires to life in this game. We're really trying to think about those details. Now, you can't have, a sci-fi video game without some bleeps and bloops. So here's some random menu sound effects. Ready? Beep. And here's another one. Ta-da, that's it. Just some boops. It's good to have
That's great.
those. They're very short, very simplistic, but they're important so that as you navigate the world, you still have some of that energy to it. With that, that's it for our sound effect teaser and about it for our presentation. I will switch back to my slides really quickly. So I have to make sure I click all the buttons again. Ha, buttons are clicked. We're good. So yeah, there was your door opening, character-specific voices, and beeps. Any quick thoughts on the sound effects?
I love it. I'm really glad that you shared those. I think just from watching your team's updates from day one, that fits perfectly with what you were trying to create. So great work.
All right. And normally I would say, oh, we'll be back tomorrow to share more, but tomorrow's demo day. So tomorrow is when the playable demo, it may be very brief for the first release, but the playable demo for Lesbians, Androids, Guns will first become available. So please keep your dial tuned in to 101.7 The Team FM one more time. Yay. So is there any
Amazing.
other questions you'd like to ask? Sorry,
Yeah,
I did my outro. I'm like, I'm done.
Charbonnet leaves chat immediately.
For the disconnect sound effect.
Yeah, where's exactly? Dink.
It's called a mic drop. Yeah?
I don't think it would take me a while to unhinge my mic to do that for you. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Seriously now, I just have a couple quick questions for your
Yes.
team. Um, what are you hoping to have ready for tomorrow? Like what are your goals tomorrow before submission?
Oh, all right. So we talked about this quite a bit today, because essentially what we're focusing on tomorrow is a bunch of different checkpoints. So what is each stage of what we would call an MVP? So Lady Mel talked about this a little bit, but MVP stands for minimum viable product. What is the smallest thing you can have that in this case would still count as a playable demo of a game? In our case, the absolute smallest thing is one room. You get one room, you get to talk to the one character, and you get to bring them maybe 2 items. Ooh, getting a little fancy there. And that would be it. Just something movable, interactive. We'd have collision at that point. We'd be able to pick up the items, bring them. You get more lines of dialogue as you go through. But that would be the absolute minimum in terms of what you would play that would count as a game. Now, We would like to do a bit more than that if we have time, which is add in other rooms. We'd love to share some of the other characters. I know people yesterday were pretty excited about Amy X. We love her too. We really want to show her. But the core thing is we have to focus on getting to that MVP, getting to the tiniest game possible. Our goal is like by midday tomorrow, we'll see if we have that tiny game. And if we have that tiny game, great. Time to make a slightly bigger game. The nice thing is we have so many foundations set up that adding to the game is something we can do a little bit faster. But making sure we get to that, we can hand this executable file off to someone and they can play the game is kind of the core goal.
That seems completely realistic, and I definitely I think it's possible. I believe in your team, and I wish you
Thank
the
you.
best of luck. I'm really glad to hear, like, it's nice to hear that that is the goal. It's totally attainable. It's 100% a smart goal. And, branching out afterwards is it's excellent. It sets your teams up for success.
That's our goal. Mel, is there anything you want to add on to that?
Uh,
You feeling good about the goal?
yeah, I feel good. I I mean, I have my thoughts about where we're going to end up, but I'm not going to share them here in case they don't work out.
Totally
So,
reasonable.
spoilers, when we had our team meeting today, I had 8 slides of different checkpoints we could hit. The last 2 are not happening, but there's plenty of things that we could potentially be able to show off tomorrow. But again, to be safe, yeah, we're targeting just the most specific things, so everyone's laser focused on getting that done.
That's great. And to end us off, do you want to highlight a win or a success from today's work before we move on?
Question every time because everything feels like such a win.
That's
Especially
good. That's
with,
good.
with this being our first real game jam, especially our first game jam as a team. We were one of the teams that were sort of put together, and we had, I think, 1 or 2 meetings before this event. So this is our first time working together. It's been so amazing to see how we collaborate, how people are contributing, how people are coming together. So I think I'm just going to go through something from everyone, if that's okay. Can I
Yeah,
cheat and
do
give you
it.
5 answers? All
Go
right.
for it.
Mel, do you want to share what your highlight was, and then I could do ones for the rest of the team?
Yeah. My highlight for today specifically is I was probably just gonna call out Charbunny's project management for this entire project because uh, you've done a fantastic job of getting us to this point, and I mean, especially in my opinion, I've had an absolute blast doing this and working with y'all. And frankly, I think this could have gone a whole lot worse, but as I said earlier, I think you're more organized and on top of things than the project manager at my day job.
I'd
Wait,
believe
I'm
that,
gonna start
actually.
crying. Thank you, Mel. Super sweet. Aw. I'm distracted. Tozzle, can you talk for like 2 seconds so I can
Yeah,
refocus? That was just so
absolutely. I think
sweet.
chat, I'll try not to add to Charbonny here, but definitely put some hype in chat for this team 101.7, the Team FM. They've done a fantastic job. Again, like first time jammers, and we're seeing so much great work. So yes, I
I
could
am
see it coming
still
in.
way too proud of that name.
I
It's a
know.
great
Like,
name.
if you haven't tried saying it out loud, please do. It's just kind of fun.
It is fun. I keep
Oh,
saying it, and Charbonny hasn't yelled at me for my radio voice yet, so I'm feeling pretty
good.
good about
Why would
myself.
I yell at you for it?
I don't know because it gets annoying. I've only said it like 40 times.
I am having a great time every time. To highlight some of our team's accomplishments from today. MJ getting the item dialogue in. So some of the dialogue you saw around the duck. Um, there's one around the bunny slipper, which is my favorite. I'm not gonna lie, but I highly encourage you tomorrow when you play this game to check out the dialogue for the magnet. That's my favorite of the 3, if I'm being objective and not bunny biased. So
Buddy
MJ's
bias.
dialogue, like completing out all the words that go into this first area, was fantastic to see. From Snowball's side, the theme for the mainframe room with like that bass line in it and the percussion going on, and sort of how it evolves from the storage room to really add new layers to it, was so cool to see. I did not realize we were getting that today, and so to have that show up was fantastic. And then from Tora's side, you continue to see that evolution of our first character and our main character there, both Cordelia and Mackenzie. And every time there's new layers to it, there's new things that I'm learning about our own characters, which is always really fun. And then obviously from Mel's side, seeing an executable running game with all of our contributions part of it, that's just so incredible because we're each working on different things. We each have different skills. And so to me, to see that transformation of 5 independent sets of work, different images running around in a Google Drive to an actual cohesive experience is the magic moment that brings it all together.
That's amazing. Honestly, you guys did such a great job. So,
Cute.
really pat yourselves on the back because it's wonderful to, like I said a million times, to see the progression's incredible. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what you deliver tomorrow for the showcase. It's going to be fun. It's going to be so nice to be able to sit back and relax and watch it being played. But I'm going to enjoy playing it. So
I know, but I'll miss
thank you
chatting
both.
with you. It's been really fun having you here all 3 days to like talk about our game, to see your reaction to it as our very first external audience member each time, and just to ask us insightful questions so we can really share more about our experience in our game with the people watching. So thank you, Tuzzle, for hosting. It's been lovely.
Oh, you're so welcome. I feel very lucky to be in this position because I feel like I'm part of everyone's team. So it's been a lot of
We all
fun.
get to borrow you. Yay.
Yeah. Thank you both again so much. We're going to take a short break, so use this time to stretch, hydrate, and grab some snacks, but don't wander off too far because we will be back with more day 3 Lag Jam updates that you're not going to want to miss. See you shortly. Lady Arcaders, this is day 3 of the Lady Arcaders Game Development Jam nightly event recap. Lady Arcaders is an all women's gaming collective that runs weekly showcases and the occasional charity event. We strive to uplift and encourage women in their gaming endeavors by cultivating a supportive environment in which to showcase their talents. If you're interested in keeping up to date with our events, Lady Arcaders has a newsletter where you can find out what our community is doing and read articles written by our members. You can visit ladyarcaders.com/newsletter or type !newsletter in chat for a quick link. Joining me now are Quacksilver and Metroid Crime from Team Recursive Ducks. Welcome back. You're almost there. How you feeling?
Oh my
Much
God.
better now that that was our walk on. Thank you so much, Dazzle.
Thank you, that was amazing.
No, composure.
welcome.
Yep, day 3 of a game jam. We're doing so good, truly. Hi. Yeah, we're Team Recursive Ducks. It's me, Quack, with Metroid Crime for day 3.
Yeah. Day 3.
Yeah,
Day 3, hype.
And so yesterday on the recap, we showed off a little bit of like roughed-in gameplay, looking at some very prototype enemies, some prototype bullets, our prototype lag mechanic. And right now, the state of the programming is we are, as the kids say, locked in. Immediately following this recap, we're going to go. Ina has very helpfully coded a tool for like managing waves of enemies, and we're gonna go sit with code and just like put all of the enemies into the video game, which I'm very excited for and also feels, very appropriate for the night before the game jam is done. But so, with that in mind, with the knowledge that programming is just sort of more of what it was yesterday, we wanted to show off some of the pretty things that we've been working on as we've gotten a lot of very, very cool assets in, which is why I am joined by Metroid Crime to talk through some of the really, really cool graphics that we've put into the game. And then also, on our way out, we'll hit you with a song and some video of some other stuff as well.
Yeah.
Oh, this is very exciting. Woo!
Yeah. So here's some animated character portraits. So there's gonna be some dialogue in our game, in our shmup game. And in these scenes you'll be able to communicate with this is Mari, who will be able to communicate with Anna. And these are some of the reactions that'll happen as you're playing through the game. The characters portrait will be on screen at all times, so you can see her react to getting hit or doing something good. So
Yeah,
that's super
and
cool.
this represents. We also have here, including very importantly the blush animation, which is absolutely my favorite because all of these games are sapphic. If we've learned one thing across this game jam, but
Yeah.
these animated character portraits really, to me, represent a lot of really good, like, in sort of interdepartmental magic. Because in addition to Crime, of course, drawing and getting the sprite sheets in for these. We've also got all of our dialogue in the game right now set up with a script that Ina wrote. Ari refactored all of our dialogue today so that we can sort of, at a whim, pick what character portrait is associated with what line of dialogue, so we can actually, make her blush in the middle of gameplay, which is super cool, and I'm very excited to see it all come together.
Yeah.
We also, the big thing that has been started and is ongoing is getting some of our enemy designs in. So, as Crime said, and I dutifully did not say right at the top, we're working on a shmup, which lives or dies by the many, many different ways you can put bullets on the screen. And so, what started at the beginning of the day as this lovely MS Paint drawing by Rena is now much further along, and hopefully by the end of the night will be many, many waves of enemies. Basically, there's another picture that is just a long vertical slice with tons of these that forms the basis of our stage. But I'd love to sort of go through and we can talk about each enemy visually and also design-wise.
Sure. So these are popcorn. These are like our basic enemy that's just kind of like always there. Kind of small. A swarm. And this is like a crocheted little like hoarding basically. That I've tinted a different color. And yeah, that's the popcorn.
Yep, yeah, we'll run through these. We try to overwhelm. They're like, I'm thinking about our stage MS Paint diagram. There are like three
Mhm.
spots that's just like, how many enemy bodies can we fit on screen? Next up, we've got Shotso and a cutie. These are our wall hugging enemies. One shoots sort of bullet rings at you, and the other a ton of waves.
Like sprinkles is how I've been thinking of them actually.
I love that.
I should actually like get some sprinkles and add the okay, I have an idea. Anyway, okay. But yeah, these are both I wanted to okay, so the types of enemies, I was trying to design them so that they're similar to each other. So these are both wall huggers. So I'm using this I have this dyed silk organza fabric that I've mixed with electronic components to create like something that can sit on a wall and fire, basically. So that's these.
Yeah. 5 and 5-2. These are all, by
Hmm.
the way, these are dev names that were straight from Rena's MS Paint document to official
Yep.
canon. At this point, I cannot think of any better name for anything. All of the placeholder names are perfect in my heart forever.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but 510 and 5-2 are our like tight group of enemies. We've got various permutations of them to make a group of 5. They've got 2 different shot types, one a little bit wider spread and one more direct.
Hmm. These are a lot of mixed media. The top ones are like crocheted like jellyfish originally. They're just taken top down. And then the other one was like a weird scrap of fabric that I had that I put some tiny solar panels into. So it kind of looks like they were in sunglasses. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, no, the shades are
I love it.
great. Our second group enemy, which is probably my favorite visual design in the game right now, other than some spoilers that we're not doing tonight, are Onit, Tucson, and Threed. These little goobers always show up exactly as that trio to try and overwhelm you with multiple different patterns that you have to dodge. Onit fires a line, Tucson fires a sort of wide-angled spread, and Threed fires rings of bullets at you.
Hmm. I did some watercolor work here in addition to using I have this, like, plumbing tape. I have a lot of, like, random stuff because I do a lot of mixed media work, and I did in school as well, so I just have, like, all these art materials, which is actually, like, just wonderful for this project to be able to, like, create this strangely, like, cohesive, but also, like, weird mix of materials, for the game. It's been very cool.
Yeah. We are slow rolling a little bit how it looks in game, but you will see how it is all put together a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
tonight, and it's truly when Crime pitched like I want to do some mixed media things for the enemies. I had like my heart rose through the ceiling, and it has absolutely whatever expectations, hopes have all been absolutely nailed, and then some. It looks so cool.
Thank you.
Um, Speaking of so cool, this is my other favorite enemy design. This is Buckshot. We're getting these have all been sort of roughly arranged in terms of threat level, not necessarily in terms of how often or how late in our stage you see them, but just generally sort of how menacing their vibes are. And so now at the high end, we've got these two bigger enemies, starting with Buckshot, that just is one enemy that tries to fill the screen like it was Medi.
Are these like those little beads that you would make like those like bracelets with the thread? I don't know, Grime, if you know what I'm
So
talking
yeah,
about. It looks like
I
those
okay,
beads.
so this is actually a bracelet that I got in Italy. And I kind of meshed it. Like molded it into like it looks kind of more like a circular shape. I, so it has a really interesting look, and I was like, that's it.
I
So it
really
looks very
like it.
threatening. Yeah.
It is, yes, it is very evil underwater vibes in
Yeah.
a sort of perfect way.
Yeah.
Um, and our last one,
Ooh.
we swear, our last one, and many shout outs to our design team who like kept ballooning the number of things. Like, yeah, we can do these patterns, we can do these patterns. At the end of the day, they're all just firing bullets with some, asterisks on it. This is Big Body. Big Body has an interesting pattern where it shoots like rings of bullets that are both very wide and also move in alternating directions. So, like the first ring it fires rotates counterclockwise and then clockwise, and then
Oh.
vice versa. It's very cool, but mostly it is there to be big.
Mhm. Mhm. Um, this is a little piece that I had, like a little sample that I did a few years back. Those are all like little crocheted holes, and then it's like dyed with ice blue Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid, really? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, Kool-Aid will dye like natural fibers like silk and wool, so it's like really easy to do like tiny little batch dyes of small things. You can just do it like literally in your microwave. You can just microwave the
I
Really?
didn't
Kool-Aid
know
with
that.
the
That's actually
wool.
so cool, and I'm
Yeah,
writing
yeah,
that
yeah.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's really
really
neat.
it's really cool. You have to use the one that doesn't have the sugar in it though. Like it's just the powder itself. Um, but people used to use it to like dye hair as well. So it's similar. It's the same type of concept because these are natural fibers. So
Oh, don't
Neat.
give me that kind of power. You can dye your hair with Kool-Aid?
yes.
Sh Just the powder though, not
Highly
the sugar
dangerous.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Highly dangerous
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, we also have we've also been working on UI. This is so in sort of the genre fusion, the media fusion, player character, UI, and sort of dialogue stuff is sprited like pixel art and aiming for that sort of retro aesthetic so that the enemies will look more eldritch in comparison. But we have here some dialogue from Anna in the communications, and then also main dialogue with Mari, as well as our UI that is a joint effort between Crime and Rena. Rena
Yeah.
did the underlying sort of like here are the boxes, here's what we need to pay attention to, and then Crime glowied it for the ocean.
Yeah, yes, yes. Yeah, I split up some of the layers, but I want to mention that Rena actually hand lettered that. That's not a font. I was like, "What font did you use?" And she's like, "No, I made that by hand." And I was like, "Wow, okay." That's amazing.
How? How did that happen?
She's very good.
I don't that's unreal. Like, that's completely wild. Like, that's very impressive. Very good job,
Yeah,
Rena.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Although I will also say the fonts. Speaking of fonts and rating, the fonts for the game. I never thought I'd. Well, I sort of believed I could get nerdy about fonts, but but we don't have the image up today because we're still working on how exactly we want to use it. But Crime also picked out, in addition to our Mari and Anna communications, we have an idea of a communication from our boss, from the boss of the game, that just looks so eldritch. And I'm very excited for that, but that is gonna be a tomorrow thing.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
But while we are saying nice things about Rena, we've the music for this game has been in an interesting direction. So the goal is one stage and a boss, and we've got other like light incidental music touches. I may be trying to scope creep one or two more little jingles and song like things in as we are all awake into the wee hours of the morn. But given that this is a classic shmup, if you have not had the privilege and honor previously of watching Rena compose chiptune live, which she has done on this channel a couple of times at like Lady Arcader's Super Showcases and stuff, it's an absolute treat, and you should check out those VODs. But also, we have a similar processed fruits of said labor. This is our stage theme for Deathblind, which is, of course, now going to decide not to play. There we go. It starts to sort of fade back into the main loop there. But are you serious? This was like ripped out in like an hour and a half, and I am forever jealous of that pace.
It's so cool. I'm so like it was so cool to see that dropped in the channel. Like it's great.
That's really good. I was keeping quiet because I didn't wanna, like, ruin the whole ruin the
Yeah.
whole, like, experience, but, like, wow. But that's
Yeah.
really, really good. Like, amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm I'll just clap over here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Mad shout outs to Serena, who does this so regularly. Like this is nothing. And then my work on the music side of things has been like great, and sort of picking apart the chiptune-iness of this, because Rena and I are doing music stuff together, and Rena is very aggressively chiptune, both in taste and compositional sort of mindset, and I am used to working with like live orchestral musicians. So we're like, yeah, no, in keeping with the pixel art mixed media fabric sort of fusion. Among my homework tonight is I've been sort of picking apart this, and I'm trying to turn it into something that is closer to chiptune than not chiptune, but a little bit a little bit aesthetically meandering from there for our boss, which I'm very excited about. and it's been so fun to work in that variety of styles. That sort of like whiplash isn't the right word, but variety feels insufficient is like that's my jam.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been really cool. I love the like the contrast that we have between the two styles of the player character versus the enemies. It's a lot of fun to work with.
Yeah. And the last thing, the last thing we'll share is going to be so it's sort of the synthesis of what's all this is happening is you're going to see a little jingle that I made, the menu built out of crimes textures and Ina's programming, and we will hold off on the design and dialogue for tomorrow. But we're going to start with the screen that I intend to be on for 90% of my gameplay experience, which is, of course, the You Died screen.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Very somber. Oh.
And there's our main menu. Placeholder
Ah.
buttons, but
Yeah.
that sort of, you can see the way the textures play on the screen. I'm so excited for just walls of enemies of that style killing me over and over and over again.
That's incredible. That looks fantastic. Like, really good work. That's amazing. I really like it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But yeah, that's sort of our stuff. I guess, Tozzle, what are you thinking in this moment?
What I've been thinking, if I can bring it up, is it gives me a bit of like a Hylix 2 feel, um, which
I
is
love that. Yeah.
which is really neat. Obviously, it's like a completely different game and a different interpretation, but like I just feel those mixed media vibes and just like I don't know if they're risks rather, but taking the risks to combine very different things, but to make them almost look natural together, you know?
Mhm.
So I really like it. It's wonderful. Um, if you're open to just a couple questions of themes that we've been talking about tonight, I'd love to ask them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been talking a bit also about lessons learned because we're here in the last we had it well now it's 21 and a half hours of
Don't
development.
say that.
So I'm just trying to be, honest. Is there anything like knowing what you know now, is there anything that you would have changed on how you approach day 1 of this event?
I think that I would have asked for a list. I would have worked with the team to make a list of assets to make beforehand. We've been pretty good about it today with now that we have like labeled enemies and stuff, but I feel like it would have helped probably to do a little bit more planning on the first day to kind of make sure we had kind of w- how many like exactly what we would need for
Y- yeah,
assets basically. Yeah, yeah.
I think having a couple people on our team that are
Mhm.
very familiar with shmups and a couple people on our team, including me, that are extremely unfamiliar with shmups, like as a genre, has been both a blessing and a curse. In that it's been very cool to sort of do some design elements in a vacuum and know that like no matter what we do, we will ultimately end up with a product that fits the genre.
Yeah.
But also like just certain things being givens are not always obvious.
Yeah, yeah.
And sort of figuring out how to work with it while also like certain things that are givens in other genres, like I'm super Metroidvania brained, and so bringing that aesthetic, and then it turns out I'm wildly off base, sort of balancing all of that is something that I think we could have like come together on earlier in the jam, but I feel like we have hit our stride.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's at
definitely.
least
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, with like what like the first night with what Rena was saying about like how we can just like ask for something and then it's like, "Yeah, done. Here you go." And it's, like, exactly what you were looking for. It's really nice that we have that sort of, like, I hate this word, but, like, synergy, if you
Not
know what I mean?
embrace it. Synergy
Yep.
TM.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Synergy.
There it is.
Sorry, it felt appropriate. Um, but no, I really I really thank you for sharing those comments because I think sharing lessons learned and looking back at this whole experience are actually quite positive things to discuss. So thank you for contributing to that discussion.
Yeah, I
Before
mean, it's also both of our first game jam, and
Mhm.
I think I said this yesterday. Everyone on our team, it's our first game jam except for Ina. Which, if I had to pick one person who like had a bunch of game jam experience, programming definitely the department you want that in.
Yeah, yeah.
and like I love this screen that you've left up here. Your menu screen is incredible. What are you hoping to have ready for tomorrow? Like, what are you hoping to submit by tomorrow? Like, what are your goals?
The dream, and I think we are on pace for it, knock on
Mhm.
wood,
Mhm. Yep.
is a fully playable single stage plus boss sort of gameplay slice. We've just been calling it a game because, like, I don't know any better. You could tell me a shmup is one stage and a boss. But full stage, as soon as we're done here, I'm hopping into the wave manager. Boss, we've got some light, like sort of in gameplay cutscenes, and the hope is that in our long night tonight, we can get a lot of the like brass tacks playable stuff done, so that tomorrow can just be about debugging, polish, narrative, and that sort of thing. It's I don't want to get too optimistic because I know the hour that these things break at is always the 11th, but it feels like that is an achievable goal, and I'm not sure if I went back in time and told that to myself, 48 hours ago or whatever, I would have believed me.
That's great. I'm really looking forward to downloading and playing this myself. So thank you all for your hard work. Before I let you
Absolutely.
go, would you like to share or highlight a win or success from today's work?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I want to shout out Ari. It is because
Yes.
of the depth of mechanical stuff we had to do. The writing has felt a little bit less like realized in the same plane because just there are 4 trillion bullets. But like we did character designs right at the beginning, and then Ari jumped in and wrote like pages and pages of like backstory characterization, all this stuff for our gals, which is incredible. And then immediately jump today on editing that and getting that in sort of format for the dialogue push tomorrow, which is super exciting. And I feel like it should go mentioned.
Mhm.
Thank you. Well, thank you both. I really enjoyed the recap of today's work. I wish you the best of luck getting to that finish line. And like I said, I'll be first in line to download all of these games. So I'm very much looking forward. Thank you for the effort even putting into this presentation. It was wonderful. I know everyone out there really appreciated it. But now we are going to step away for a brief intermission while we set up our next team. Please take this time for some self care and stay tuned as the Lag Jam event recap will continue shortly. Arcaders, this is day 3 of the Lady Arcaders Game Development Jam nightly event recap. For those of you who are new to the Game Jam scene, a Game Jam is an event where groups of people of varying skill levels in graphic design, programming, writing, music composition, and you name it come together to work on making a game from scratch. The theme for the Lady Arcaders Game Development Jam is lag. Teams have taken lag as a concept literally or figuratively and used it to guide their game creations. and they've been tirelessly working since 10 a.m. on Thursday morning. And they only have until tomorrow, Sunday, November 17th at 8 p.m. to submit their games for the final showcase. So exciting. Up next, we have Trainer Anade, Selkuth Mind, and Arya from Team Pasta Productions. I know it's impossible to believe that this is the last update, and you can alone do so much. But I have a feeling that the pesto's yet to come. Okay, sorry, I'm done. It's how's it going, team?
Good. Oh, beautiful puns, Tozzle. A plus.
Yes, thank you for that.
Ah.
As an Italian, I approve of your pasta puns.
Thank you.
All right, Anade, why don't you tell folks what we got here?
Yeah, so we are back with Compartmentalize, and today we have a logo. And an important factor is there are locks and a key, and that's because we decided today, this morning, to basically redo not quite half of our assets and change from crates to locks and keys. And
Ooh.
So and you'll get to see that. We have a little bit of gameplay later, and you'll get to see the lock and you'll get to see the key in one of the locks. So each of these days we've been talking about our 3 zones, our 3 layers, and that's why we have 3 different locks, one for each layer. And it was also really interesting because it means it brought up the teamwork and the working together aspect, because this idea just came up earlier today, and we're like, okay, well, we're going to have to change things, and we did, and then we had some pushback, and we had to kind of figure out together as a team, like, okay, how are we going to do this? And it was really, honestly, it was really good. Like, I love where we've come down with the new assets. But also it was, it was good for us as a team to work together and kind of figure all of that out together. And so we ended up with a new logo for the game, as well as Pasta Productions logo. But we're mostly here today to talk about music and see some gameplay.
Which means this is my time to shine. So I have been hard at work making levels, which you have heard about if you've seen, especially yesterday's update. But I've also been writing the music. This is why I went to bed at like 5:30 in the morning yesterday. This morning, what is time anymore? I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna talk about music. Obviously, there's 3 areas. There's a few different things that have inspired the music. I have written 3 separate tracks. The first one, the hills area, very hills like, I know, shocking. Also a little bit kind of eerie, like just something's a little bit off with it, which is very fitting of our story. Also fitting of the concept of lag, if you think about it. If something's lagging, something's not quite right. Yes, that is an image of I can't remember how to pronounce it, but an Irish traditional war horn, which adds a bit of that element. And then fire. We're going to get into fire in a minute, but leading up to this event, I discovered the Rift of the Necrodancer soundtrack. And oh my goodness, if you've not heard that soundtrack yet, please go listen to it. It is very, 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 very good. But so that definitely inspired the fire a little bit. And then, of course, I love Stardew. I'm a Stardew Valley speedrunner. What better inspiration to take for writing ice levels than the ice levels of the cave and the winter tracks from Stardew? Very different in result, but that's where the inspiration came from. So there's another little hidden thing in the music. So I guess a little bit of backstory. I have a Bachelor of Music, specializing in composition. A much younger Cell, much more naive Cell, wanted to get into composition for movies. Younger Cell did not take that path because, at the time, and even still to this day, it's not a very welcoming space for women and femmes. So, with all that said, though, I have a few tricks up my sleeve for composition. I like to do a thing where I encode words into my music.
Mhm.
So, because our story is about healing and like a journey of self discovery, growth, I took the word healing, HEALING, and I converted that into a little motif that we're going to hear throughout all the levels. So I'm going to play the motif for you all. I'm going to make sure it's loaded fully. Sometimes these things lag out a little bit. Shockingly appropriate. All right. So this is the motif. This is literally a recording from my phone of me at my keyboard. Bear with the audio quality. So that's the motif. That spells healing in my system of encoding things. So now I'll play the Hill Zone. I'm going to just turn the volume down because these tracks are very loud. Get it to load. There we go. This is a snippet out of the music for the Hill Zone, which features that same motif.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's a little taste of what the Hill Zone sounds like. And now brace yourselves for the Fire Zone. This is an image I made this morning because I was head empty, no thoughts, and couldn't do anything else. I went, I need to make a meme. So I joked at the time of writing this, if I were to scroll back in our channel, I think I finished writing the fire theme at like 3 a.m. my time or something, dead middle of the night. And I believe the way I described it at the time in text was it's as if Luigi's Mansion had a baby with an EDM nightclub, which is a phrase I never thought I would ever say. So here we have Luigi from Luigi's Mansion in a nightclub with an organ and some Stardew Valley and a cowboy ghost. Don't worry about it. I am going to turn down this music because it is very loud. I'm just going to make sure it's set. All right. I hope you're ready. This is Fire Zone. Yes, I hope the Luigi's Mansion was as evident to everyone else as it was to me, which was not what I went in going for, but you know, I'll take it. I will take it. It's good. I like it. I can't wait for you to hear the full track. That's just a little taste. And finally, we have the Ice Zone. I'm still working on this one, but I did get enough of it written to be able to showcase the use of the motif in this one. And this is, again, a completely different style. Oh.
There we go.
Very nice.
Yeah. So all three of those make use of that motif in slightly different ways, in different keys. But the theme of healing is deeply interwoven into the game in a way that I think's really cool. I will admit I am the music nerd, but I do think it's very cool. Yeah, that is a little taste of our music. We do have a fourth area that will have its own music still. I haven't written it yet. I don't know what style it's gonna be. It could be, who knows? I did not expect to come out with 3 violently different styles of music, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. I'm having fun being creative, and I've been enjoying it. But with that being said, I think it's time for some gameplay.
I'm
And
excited. Let's
that's
do this.
yeah,
All
and that's
right.
why Arya is here as well.
Yes,
Mhm.
I made this level. This level that we're going to be showing is not actually part of the game. And Cell has never seen it before, so this is going to be a live solve of this level. And it's just giving you a style of like what kinds of things you would expect to see as you play the real game. You know, it's in the level select. There's a demo level. The level select is empty because you haven't been to any levels. As you go through the level select will get the levels you've already been to, so you can revisit them, and play them again and try to, you know, figure out what's going on. You know, revisit the story you wanted, if you wanted to, or any other reason you might want to revisit levels or level select. So yeah, we
Okay.
have. So you click on the demo button, you'll see the
I'm
level be
nervous.
loaded up.
I am so
Yeah,
nervous. I have no idea what to expect. All I know is there's a lot of barrels. That's the only thing I know.
there are so many barrels.
Oh boy.
I'm excited. Good luck.
Oh boy.
So this is a
What
preview
on
of.
earth is this? Okay. There's hello Leg Jam 2024. Hello. And yes, good luck to all the teams for the final day. Enjoy this bonus puzzle made just for this demonstration.
This is great.
Oh goodness gracious.
And
So yeah,
there's
so yeah,
also an
the goal.
example. Oh, good.
Yeah, the goal is to get the key into the locks. Right? There's more than one lock. There's more than one key. There's more keys than locks. Um, so
Yeah, I can tell. So I can first of all say that the two keys on the very outside are not usable because I can't get them off of the bottom. So this is the thing about Sokobon is you have to be able to access whatever you're pushing from all four sides. The second you can no longer push it from one side, you are no longer able to move it in the direction because you can't get behind it to push. This is not a problem if you can pull, but we can't pull. We can only push. Huh. Huh.
And
This
while Cell is trying to parse this, I also just want to point out this is the tile set of the fire zone. So that really fire track earlier, haha, is set in this tile set.
yes, and there are those fire barrels. They are not just decoration, but you have to play the game to find out what they do besides decoration.
Mhm.
right now they're just adding some wonderful atmosphere.
Yes, I will let Cell give. I'll give Cell a little hint. They are not functional.
Yeah,
It-
that I I had a guess.
yeah,
Oh,
they're
and I
not
can't push
required for the
anything into
puzzle.
them. Sad.
Yeah, yeah. Intentional.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah,
Well,
I
let's.
did request that Arya put the fire in this level just to show off the little animation because I'm proud of it.
As you should be. It's very good. Okay, so first things first. Oh goodness gracious, this is a hot mess, and I don't mean that because it's the fire world. I say this lovingly. I'm enjoying this puzzle, but oh boy. Um, I'm just like, there's so many barrels and so many things I wish I could do with them that I cannot say yet because that would be spoilers for mechanics that you have to discover when you can play the game for yourself tomorrow.
And when you read
Um,
all of Peebs's lovely messages,
Oh my
which
gosh.
are with both exposition, story, and tutorial, all in one, in such an expert way.
yes. Peeps has been working on the story and has been doing such an incredible job of it. Okay, yeah, this is not a problem. This one here. Sorry, I just figured that out.
Yeah,
Which means I can push that up there. This was play tested, right? Yes.
Yes.
I've beaten it,
Okay.
and Nada has beaten it as well.
Okay. So I'm not because I asked that because I did the other last night build an unsolvable puzzle. I had to fix it. All right, there we go. That's one lockdown. Um. Oh, I can. Okay, yeah. Ooh, let's not walk into that.
There we go. Mhm.
Yes.
Also, the barrel animation is great.
Yay! I did all the little animations. And
I like that you
actually,
can push multiple barrels.
yes.
Yes, that was one of the things I wanted to show off in this level, was the barrel pushing. I mean, that was barrels are not a heavily element in the fire zone, but it is something you learn early,
Yay.
Hey, let's go.
Yay!
and you can go through the door. It just brings you back to the level select screen.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yay!
Yeah. Well,
Nice
there we
work,
go.
team.
That was
Yes,
fun.
yes. So that is, yeah, that was the level. It gives you an idea of the kind of. I took a lot of inspiration from this levels that Cells were making. I went Chaos Monkey because I know that she likes that for these Sokobans. They're a little more focused in the game. They're but this was I was having fun
Mhm.
with the level design, trying to understand and learn because that was one of the things I wanted to get out of this myself was try to come up with level design. And so this was my way to kind of stretch that muscle a little bit, um, without worrying about does it fit into the context of the whole story because the story is an important part of this game. It's not just
Mhm.
a bunch of levels. It's not just a puzzle game.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Very good though. That was a fun little puzzle. I would like to see that as a bonus puzzle if we have time to
Yes.
include it.
I mean, I can just keep the button there.
Hey,
I
cool.
can change the
That's
name
true.
from I can change the name from hint
Demo.
Tutorial.
from demo to
Well, no,
bonus.
we actually have a tutorial
Oh, you have a tutorial.
built
It's
into
amazing.
Mhm.
Okay,
the game.
bonus. All right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so this is bonus.
Nice.
This is
Very
bonus. We
cool.
can I can just change the name of the button to bonus.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know if this is a spoiler, and obviously you don't have to answer
Mhm.
this if you don't want to, but how many levels do you have completed at this point?
Oh, do I remember is the question.
You have 15 levels completed, I think, right?
14 and a half because that last one of the ice world is not quite finished.
Oh,
Um,
right. Yes, yes,
it's
14 and a half
almost
levels.
finished.
Wow.
Yeah, 14 and a half levels, and then I still have another 4 to make, and these are the quote boss puzzles. So, uh, wish me luck. I will probably be consuming a lot of caffeine tonight working on those. Um,
Yes.
uh, but yeah, I think that means there'll be 19 levels in the game.
Yeah.
Wow.
That,
Very
that's
good
the plan,
Yes.
at
progress.
least. Yes.
Mhm.
Well, 20 if we count the bonus.
Ooh. Or any other bonus if we have time. Yeah, we maybe make more bonus levels. I don't know.
This
But
is true. And
there will be 19 story.
we've also hinted at we'd said like one of the things is if we have time, um, players being able to input some of their own messages. And Aria thinks that she's gotten that figured out, so we might be able to get that in the finished game as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
By
Yeah.
messages,
That is working. That is
I will just
working.
go here
Yeah.
Very
Those
cool.
messages.
like that. Yeah,
Yes,
messages.
those messages.
That's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So it is acts as a journaling game too now.
Very nice.
Um,
Uh,
Hey, this is my kind of journal, okay?
I,
Put anything into a game and I'm there.
it makes me laugh because like I know a lot of RPG board game jams, RPG game jams end up as journaling games, and so it amuses me to add a journaling aspect to our video game jam game.
That's great.
yeah. No, and we got a whole bunch more mechanics. Arya just picked a couple here to show.
Yes.
But there's many mechanics and we had to
M-
there's a couple of
Most
points.
room, most rooms introduce at least one mechanic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we had to scale a few back even because we were starting to have too many. But I'm very happy with how many we have, and I think they give a good challenge to players.
Yeah.
So do you mind if I ask a question?
Yeah,
Go
go
for
for
it.
it.
Um, I don't know if we mentioned this at the beginning, but what influenced the change to the lock and key?
So Well, it was multi.
Want me to go
Look,
over that? Want me to explain it? It was my
yeah,
suggestion. Yeah.
yes. So
So
Aria made the suggestion.
yeah. So it was a lot of things. There was one thing is there was one playtest that gave a feedback that I can't give details on it, but one of the feedback suggested that we needed to make a change to the crate in some way. Um, and so that was one thing. So I was already thinking about like how could we change the crate to address this feedback concern about some kind of like a readability of the level. And the other thing is, as we said, one of the inspirations of the game was Zelda, right? Is the Zelda dungeons, you finding the keys to get through the things. And we realized we said this inspiration, we had even some text about keys, and we had no keys in the entire game, anywhere. And so it's like, well, we I like this idea of a key, right? We were originally going to make like a picture of a key that just kind of existed in the world. You were there, and so when we thought about this key, and it was like, it also makes it clear that like the key goes in a lock, right? That's a very visually distinct thing you're doing, right? One of the original thoughts with the targets was that you were going to have multiple things that could go on the target, like the different objects that could move, and some of the targets would take the crates, some would take the barrels, and some would take some of the other objects. And as we're going through the level design, we realized it's just going to be easier if the only thing that goes on the crate, on the target, is the crate, is the one object. So it doesn't need, having that make it more obvious about why you're putting this thing on there, like, kind of fitting in with the story aspect of the game rather than just thinking of it as a game. Why are you putting these boxes on the target? There's no explanation for why you were doing that, right? It's kind of a meaningless aspect.
Right.
You're not doing anything. So making the keys and the locks was a narrative, thing that solved both a issue resolved during the playtesting and also like adding some more narrative. And since that's an
And
important part of this game, it was really a double win.
and that was part of it too, is so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go create a key and a lock. And at first I was just gonna do like a keyhole in a square. And I was like, and just as I was like going to go like draw it, and I was like, wait a second. Well, okay, what about a padlock? And the inspiration hit of, what about a padlock that's based on the thing? So the idea is, we've talked about this in the past, the hills being sort of denial. Well, how you cope with denial is support and acceptance. So the lock is a heart, and
Mm,
like the
very
fire
neat.
is anger. So the lock is a clock to take time out. And so we went sort of from that of the lock and key to even more diving into the narrative, and hence and eventually coming up with even the logo of, those are our three locks for the game, in more detail than you get to see in the very pixel graphics in the game itself.
That's very cool. That's really neat. And thank you very much for that explanation. That was very insightful. Thank you. That's really, it's really, well, like Chad is saying, the theming is coming together.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, and I also especially want to shout out like our playtesters. I've recruited a few folks just from my own community, and it's been very informative from finding a couple of coding bugs of varying levels of severity to just some ideas and things that are now in the game because they were like, oh, hey, that'd be really cool to see this feature. And we were like, that's a great idea. We have the time to include it. Let's do it. So, yes, shout out to playtesters, both for us and anyone else who's been playtesting stuff for this event.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, thank you. Do you have any final comments you'd like to share before we wrap up your presentation and move on to our next one?
I want to do one final shout out to Sweet Peebs, the last member of our team who has not been able to make these showcases. You haven't mostly been able to see what she's been doing. She made the character art, which I absolutely adore. But she's also been doing the story, and we haven't wanted to spoil any of the story, so you haven't seen it in these showcases. But let me tell you, I
It's good.
literally, like,
Mhm.
not exaggerating in any way, shape, or form, I both laughed and cried earlier today while reading through. So it is amazing. And if, depending on how much we get to see in the playtest tomorrow during the showcase, or maybe even playing yourself, the story is amazing. And like, I just really need to do an extra shout out to Peeps for that.
Yeah, and she's done such a great job of taking the level design, combining what needs to be
Yes.
explained to a player in sort of quasi tutorial information, but weaving it in so seamlessly into the story as well. Like
Mhm.
she's been absolutely doing a phenomenal job, and I am very excited that you all will get to see this work tomorrow because
Mhm.
it's been very hidden. Um,
I'm really excited. Like, this is very cool. Thank you three so much again. I really enjoyed this recap and watching your game grow throughout this event. Like, I feel like on day 1, I felt like there might have been a little bit of hesitation about how far your team has, were like, how fast you were moving, and I mean, here you are with you said 14 and a half levels made, you had a demo, like, a theme, everyone, it sounds like they're having fun and happy, so,
Mhm.
great job. I just wanna say great job again, so thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
yeah, thank you.
But right now, we're going to take a short break as we prepare for our final LagGam presentation for the evening. Stay tuned as we will be right back to untangle the pages on more thrilling LagJam Day 3 developments. Arcaders and Day 3 of the Lady Arcaders Game Development Jam Nightly Event Recap. Lady Arcaders is an all women's gaming collective that runs weekly showcases and the occasional charity event. We strive to uplift and encourage women in their gaming endeavors by cultivating a supportive environment in which to showcase their talents. And we're in the home stretch of game development, folks. I really can't believe it's already the end of day 3 and teams have less than 24 hours to finish development on their games as development must cease by 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow evening. Games will then be featured during our final Lag Jam showcase stream starting tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I am so excited. But first, for our last team presentation of the evening, I'm joined by Scala Kitty from Team Accord. It's great to have you back tonight to share more progress. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Apologies for not being available for day 2. I partook of the amazing cultural event that is Desert Bus for Hope, and yeah, that's a 24-hour live charity event that will mess up your sleep schedule, and then you have to explain to people, yeah, I'm really, really tired because I needed to know how the Beyblade tournament was going to end. I
I've been
say
I've been
this.
watching it too, to be fair, so I understand.
Okay, good, good. You understand.
I
You
totally
understand.
understand.
Great. Also, congrats to them for their first 1 week. But anyway, um, so there's been a lot of progress made. Before we get into the progress, I kind of wanted to show how this kind of gets organized, which is it gets organized first and foremost in Google Docs because this is a narrative game. So there are many pages worth of writing that gets done here. Um, but we and then we're going to kind of see how all that gets translated into the game. As a reminder, it's only going to be these first 2 chapters, which will be in the demo. The other 6, hopefully I'll be able to kind of make that happen as I have time for it. But when we kind of looked at the game last time, it kind of had a bit of structure to it, but now there is a lot more.
A lot more,
there
absolutely.
There is a lot more. So I feel that this is something where it's probably just gonna be best if I just show you all where we're at. And really, what we're going to actually do is we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to do a test play.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah. As you can see, there's now a logo.
Very
There are
cool. Looks
words.
good. Ah, I love this. Wonderful.
So the song that is quoted here is "Infinitely Light Years" by Stephen Page. Uh, for background, because you might not know him by name, he was one of the original vocalists in Bare Naked Ladies. Has since left to do his own personal projects. His album from, I think it's last year, or the but his most recent album, Excelsior, has this absolutely gorgeous song called Infinitely Light Years. It's one of my favorite songs in the world. And it was a major inspiration for this game. And it felt very right to quote it.
And also
And then
Canadian content.
yes, I gave you all some Canadian content. Um, but yeah, I actually I put together this logo, which is sort of meant to be a very abstract representation of the game, where we have all these sort of stars, and then we have this sort of loop connecting our two big stars, which represent the two main characters. And then we have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stars for some of the other characters in the game. So I tried to kind of have a little subtle representation of the main cast in the logo itself. But yeah, the song itself is about the beauty of long distance relationships and comparing them to the concept of quantum entanglement.
Ooh.
So it's a very particular, very nerdy song, and it's also an absolutely gorgeous song. So please go listen to Infinitely Light Years, and you'll basically understand what this game is about. But then we actually have an introduction. This is very similar to the one that I wrote for diagnostics, where I kind of summarize the story. I actually managed to get it in a single paragraph. Go me. Um, and then sort of talk about what sort of features we have, what content warnings are going to be here. This only applies to the demo. The full game is probably going to get not super dark, but it's going to get darker than what the demo gets. But I promise a happy ending. I am definitely one of those people who I might write something a little dark, but I always promise a happy ending. And then I just have special notes about how the chat logs are going to work. It also has a bookmark system, and just a note that this is the demo version. But yeah, so let's go ahead into the story hub. So this is the center of entanglement. This is the story hub. Basically, how it's going to work is as you move through the story, the individual scenes will be available here on the hub. And then there's also this icon guide. So a little bit of graphics entwine. So you can see here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, sorry, that's only 8. Never mind, I can count. So we have 8. We have 8 different icons. So as I
Very
was
nice.
planning all of this, I realized that I might need a 9th. So that's going to be fun. But the way the icons actually work is these are they're just emojis with a little like highlight background behind them. And then they're rendered in the Noto emoji font by Google, which is like free for anyone to use. And so this way I can kind of create these little teeny tiny graphics. I actually will show very quickly how the logo works, because again, as I sort of mentioned, Twine doesn't necessarily have a built-in functionality for storing images. But people who make Twine games are very, very smart and resourceful. So what folks have figured out and have shared is that you can take an image and then you can convert it to base 64 text. And this giant wall of text is actually what will render as the image.
Whoa.
And it works.
That that that's like smoke coming out the ears right there.
I mean,
That's impressive.
no, basically what you just do is you just put an image into a base 64 converter and it will
Huh.
like generate this code for you, and then you just put it into your Twine game, and then you don't have to actually worry about any type of image hosting.
And
It's
then
just
blam
natively.
image?
Hmm?
And then it just blam in it image?
Yeah, just blam
Huh.
image.
Very cool.
Magic.
That's very cool. I like that. Neat.
Yeah. So anyway, we won't be reading in detail just because it's a lot. But I will show that you can go through all of chapter 1. All of chapter 1 is finished. If I got to
Wow.
the point where I couldn't make chapter 2 work, I could release just chapter 1 as my sort of my minimum viable product, to kind of
Awesome.
borrow terms from earlier. But I'm going to go ahead and sort of bring us through the story. So I'll just display the icon. So this has the exclamation point. That means this is a brand new scene. We haven't read this yet. This little leaf here. I'll bring up the guide. So we have the ones for location. So Leaf is the location of Theobroma. That is a very lovely planet, and that is where our main character Phyla lives. And then our other location is the Corvus Station. That's where the majority of the cast lives, is on the Corvus Station. But one of the really big things I worked on over the last 2 days was making it so that way, when you are in a certain location, that will be reflected in the style of the text. So anything that happens on Theobroma will be on this nice green background. And we have this entire little introduction here. And then, so the way you basically move through Twine is through links. So there are 2 links here. I might have to try and go through and maybe make those a little bit easier to spot. I'm still messing a little bit with this sort of HTML and color work. I will. Would you like to see the one troll I have in this game?
Is it okay, okay, so here's my one question. Is it
Yes, go
something
ahead.
that the troll could be found during playing tomorrow? Or
Yes.
is because
Okay.
do we
Okay.
wanna
In that case,
spoil our
yeah.
testers?
I
I'm
don't want to
just
spoil our test of that.
Yeah.
All I will tell you is that there is a troll. There is a
Okay,
troll.
okay.
It is
Okay, we'll
very.
look for the troll.
We'll have to look for the troll. But in that case, we'll just go to contact information. So here we go. We have our contact information. These are all the friends we're going to make.
Oh,
But
very
if we
neat.
go here and we click on Acade, we actually get Acade's half of the prologue. Also, hey, it's the random generator. Hi, Stet. How are you feeling today? We talked about this on day 1.
It's great. This is
Stet
very cool.
is okay. So Stet is in, I think, an other mood. Yeah. But anyway, so they decided, Z decided, oh, sorry, it's G for this one. So G decided to be feeling heavenly today. Got on a turtleneck and some slacks. Got her hair in a bun. All right, looking cute. Good job for you, Stat.
That sounds nice. That sounds like a good mood. I like it. I'll take it.
I mean, I kind of curated Stet's wardrobe a little bit. I went through a couple variations when I was planning it, and I decided that mainly for the generator, we mainly just have more like their business casual kind of looks. Um, Actually, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go back to the hub just to kind of show how the hub has been updating. So the hub in the background has actually been updating as we've been moving through the story.
Oh, look at that. That's great.
Yeah, so you can
Well
see
done.
we went through the contact list. We read 2 parts of the prologue, and now we have this one here called First Introductions. So, we've been talking about all the different ways that we've sort of been simulating lag during this event. Uh, so a lot of the dialogue that I have in this game takes place via chat conversation. Chat logs are like a big part of the game. So I really wanted to let the player have the experience of sort of watching a chat happen in front of them. So it took this is the most like code wise as of like the demo, this is the most complicated thing that's in this game. It took a lot of finessing to get this to work, but I'm very, very proud of this. Many, many shout outs to all the wonderful folks, uh, both in the folks who put together the Twinery guidebook, the Harlow guidebook. Harlow is the Twine language I'm working in, and the folks who like are happy to give out answers and tutorials on the Twinery forums and the Twinery subreddit. That has been absolutely immensely helpful. Um, so one of the longtime Twine community members, Gray Elf, came up with this solution for how to display a chat log, and it works really, really, really well. So many, many shout outs to them. But yeah, let's go ahead and you can see how the chats are going to work and how we're going to simulate lag. Which we won't. I won't. It's going to keep loading below this, but I'm just going to sort of stop here. It's going to stop it eventually at a choice point. It's going to keep loading
Ah,
below this. But one of the things I really wanted to do is I wanted to simulate when someone texts you way too fast and the messages appear to you out of order.
that's great. Yeah.
So in Phyla's introduction, these 4 lines here actually load completely randomly,
Wow. Very
which is very
cool.
which is very fun to put together. And then Akade has to tell Phyla, I need you to slow down. Don't do that, please. Please don't rapid text me.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, you know how you go back to the main hub? If you were to open
Yes.
this again, would they come out in a different
Ah,
order?
this is actually pretty fun. I do have to finish up this conversation real quick. Um, I will let Tazal you pick which option should we go with.
Surprise me.
Surprise me, and then here we can actually watch it kind of fill in. So
Ah,
when I did sort of indicate that when you reach a chat closed method or chat ended method, that's when the scene is actually over. So I'm going to return to the hub real quick. Actually, here, I'll show you what happens if you click surprise me. You get a little extra chat.
that's fun.
So yeah, but here's the thing. I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? When you have a chat though, it only kind of loads that way once, and then you go back and you
Yeah.
read it afterwards. So there's actually a whole extra level of functionality, so that way after you've watched a chat play out once, anytime you go back, it's already all loaded in.
Wow. Very
And when
cool.
you go back and you load this in, this is actually now in the corrected order.
Huh. That's
So
really neat. That, you know what? You've put a lot of thought. I mean, you've done an unbelievable amount of writing prep for this, obviously, but you put a lot of thought into how the words are displayed. And like, I mean, I think it just shows like your care into your project, and that's really cool.
well, because when I imagined this project, I originally imagined it as just the chat logs. And then I realized that I wanted there to be a bit more substance to it. So that's why I then started also filling in with the narrative scenes and then the emails as well. I'm going to continue on with chapter 1. I do like this one, which is Phyla trying very much to be like, hi, hi. Oh, so we also had this thing where Phyla's trying to reach out to Raymond, who Acade had directed Phyla to talk to. If you check the contact list when we first looked at it, Raymond's name was actually not on there, but Raymond has now been added there.
Look at that.
So yeah, what is actually kind of happening under the hood with all of this? I'm just going to go over here real quick to sort of show what's actually happening. There is in Twine, there is a built-in functionality to keep track of what the player has already read. So what I just did to make it so that way I didn't have to keep calling the history function is I just made a bunch of variables. So these are basically my event flags. So there's an event flag for every single scene, and that's also how the new markers work. So the new markers come up if this scene is not currently in your history.
Mm-hmm.
But chapter 1 is designed to be pretty linear. You're able to basically move through the chapter without, you never actually have to go to the hub during chapter 1, and that's intentional. Oh, these are emails. It took me
You
so
did it.
long to get this email button to work. This email button was the bane of my existence for a while. But it does actually work. If you go in, you could actually push button get email. And that's why emails look very different kind of from the rest of the text. I also do tell you thread concluded at the end to be like, no, you're good. You did it. You got all the emails. Good job.
Perfect. Hey, that's the kind of instruction that I need personally. So good to add
Yes.
that.
I will give in putting together chapter 1, I realized that I didn't like the pacing, so I actually added scenes to chapter 1. Originally chapter 1 was about 5,000 words. It's now a little over 7,000.
Really? Since the jam started?
Yes.
Wow.
To let people know, I was literally paid to write. So if I am sufficiently motivated, I can write very fast.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's
That
impressive.
is a lot. So I did add in a scene. This is a scene between Phyla and Phyla's bestie Kiri. Who I'm like, there's not enough Kiri in this. So I decided to add more Kiri. It's actually been a lot of fun to flesh out Kiri. Kiri is a like one-off, one-line character in the first game in Diagnostics. So it's been very fun to round her out into like a full-fledged character. But also I did get a very special allowance, which is right here. Where Kiri mentions that she's going on a date and they're going to go see the movie adaptations of Lesbians, Androids, Guns. So thank you
Great
very
callback.
much. Yes, I had to include the callback. So just lots of love to 101.7 The Team FM for
The
giving me
team.
that the team. Thank you for that permission to have the crossover and to make it so that way Lesbians, Androids, Guns is a piece of media that exists within my universe.
Very nice. Good
I like
collab.
doing well, the thing is I like doing this. I like having this sort of verisimilitude of like pop culture that exists within this world. So there's like a number of times where there are little side things that I'm hoping it is included in chapter 1. I'm hoping to have it in chapter 2. I want to have a little side plot where Phyla and Acade start watching the same like I guess I can call it television series, but they start watching the same series, and I want to have like them like start like theory crafting as to what's going on in this series that like you as the player never get to watch, but you kind of get like an idea of what's it about through their conversations. as like a interesting sort of weird recursive thing. But that's the thing is that it's recreating the feel though of a long distance friendship. You know, I have had times where like I've had watch parties with online friends, and it's like that's a very cool that's a very unique experience to long distance friendships. So I'm trying to kind of add some of that in here. You have another short chat that loads in. Another part about this, this one you can kind of see how the timing works. So longer paragraphs take longer to load to simulate like a character typing them out, whereas shorter paragraphs will load in shorter.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
Yeah, so this also I've been um watching a lovely streamer that I really like watching, Spoonie, who's been she's been playing the game nine it's 9 people, 9 hours, 9 doors. It's something in that order. But that's a really interesting game where like there will be, you know, just complete side tangents into other like discussions and everything. And some of it does tie back to the theme. Some of it's just kind of fun. So I did kind of in that vein include one of my favorite pieces of trivia, which is that the dates of October 5th through October 14th, 1582 simply don't exist. They're just not there. So there you go. There's a non-zero amount of there are going to be random fun facts in this game.
And you'll have to download it yourself so you can explore them in detail.
You'll have to download it yourself to explore it in detail. But it's kind of fun though. I mean, like I said, the big thing is that I kind of have, even though we don't get super deep into it in the 2 chapters that we're going to have, I know the whole like background of the characters, and it's been very interesting to kind of thread their background stories into the earlier chapters before there's like a big like reveal of like, oh, okay, that's why character is like X, Y, or Z. Um, which does come up in this little scene about T sets. And it's like that's a weird thing to get hung up on. Don't worry, I promise you there's a reason. Unfortunately, we don't discuss it in the demo. But actually here, so I'll let this one play, and then I'll actually show you how it works, because it is pretty interesting how it works under the hood. But this is another whole section about trivia. This is specifically about the Terracotta Army of the first Emperor of China. I'm going to do my best to pronounce this. King Shi Huang, which is an absolutely just wild thing. If you've never gone and learned about it, it's fantastic. But I'm going to return to the hub for this. And you can see how things have been filling in. Good job, us. So I'm going to very quickly show how the chats actually work. I'll go over here to the introduction. So let me actually. So the way the chats are working is so we start out by having this is basically an empty box. So this is what's in front of this is a naming hook. So it's like this space is named chat. Inside of chat, we have what is called a special functionality in Twine called live. Basically, within the live section, there is a constantly running timer. And then you can use that timer to then have events happen. Basically, when the timer reaches a certain numbers. The way mine is set up is that basically we basically have a variable called tick, which just keeps track of what time is the timer at. What this does is this gives a really nice granular control over when the messages appear. It does require a little bit of math because to be able to simulate the lag, I have to then add on like how many ticks do I want to wait until the next message loads in. So if it's quick messages, they only take 1 tick, 1 second to load in. If it's a longer message, I've been sort of defaulting to around 2 seconds as the default. But it goes as short as 1. I think the longest I go is like about 4 seconds. Because you don't want to keep the player waiting that long. You need to simulate the wait, but you can't have it go too long. So basically, as everything ticks, each message gets added back into that originally blank box that we created. And that's how it actually works. And then to sort of break down further, we also have this little CT variable. It just says anything tagged CT. It just has that little fade in rather than just a sudden appearance, which I feel is a nice way to kind of smooth it over a little bit. And then here, this is another hook. The hook's just here for the name. It's just what adds that little color that they have around their chat names. And then over here we have like where the options actually load in. So to make that all work, the chat, that's where chat stops loading. Then the player selects their answer, and then we load in the chat again. And then so we have a secondary chat that runs afterwards, so we can make it so that way nothing else loads until the player has made a selection. But yeah, that's how we're simulating chat lag.
That's how the magic of chat lag happens, folks.
Yes. It's a whole bunch of else if functions and the live function. So this took I kind of had to really read the tutorial about how to do this very carefully to kind of understand it. But once I got there, I was like very pleasantly like surprised as to how well this works. I definitely have seen other interactive fiction devs do simulate this even further. I've seen games where they even simulate the, like the, character is typing and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't need to go that far. Let me kind of go back because I'm just going to show that all of chapter 1 does indeed exist. And then I actually will show one other kind of really interesting because, like I said, I've tried to make it so that way the colors have context to them. Long story extremely short, what's happening here narratively is Phyla's supervisor kind of tells her, can you maybe like not like get all distracted and text your new bestie all the time, or if you're going to do it, at least text it under your personal account, please. So we have sort of what is the business chat functionality, which by the way, yes, the colors are taken from Microsoft Teams. That was intentional. But now we also have a secondary chat client, which I love this little part though, where Phyla realizes that it's still showing the display name and not like her actual name. And so there's a decent amount of lag while Phyla fixes that. So I really liked that little tiny touch as well, to also have them both start with their handles rather than their names, which we've been using in all the other chats. So, but again, those are like kind of like the little like touches that I liked adding.
That's
And
great. I'm
then
really excited for the players to experience it tomorrow. I'm
yes,
excited to experience it with them.
Yes, and then we actually get to the end of part 1. So you can go
Yay.
through all of part 1, and when you do that, there it is. There's all of part 1. And guess what's here now? It's
Oh,
chapter
part 2.
2.
So is that what you're hoping to have ready for tomorrow is to
I'm
get part 2 in
so
there?
what I will kind of show, I'll kind of minimize this. Oops, that was loading into that window. Give me 1 second. There we go. Uh, so up here is all of chapter 1. Down here is the start of chapter 2. Basically, all the text is loaded in. Right now, what has to happen is stuff has to get coded. Um, so this is a little trick that I've done. So with having the chat log when you go back to look at it, having it already be loaded in, the way it actually works is it's in Twine, everything's divided up into uh, these are all called passages. Basically, there's an extra passage which you can see here. Like you have like chapter 1 chat introductions, and then chapter 1 chat introductions read. Basically, there's a little if then function built into introductions, where basically if you have already read that page, it will swap out the coded version that does like the chat log for the static version. And that's how it's actually working. What I have found is that basically if I go through and I code the red version first,
Are you still with us, Scala? I see the mouse moving. Chat, you have to help me. Is it just me or is it have we lost Scala's amazing narration? I mean, this demonstration has been amazing. I mean, I can't believe well, one, it's been a great showcase of Twine, but two, like even though Scala has written a majority of this
hello, can you?
prior to this event. Oh, hey, you're here.
I'm here.
Hello.
Hello. My headset flickered off and I didn't realize. Um anyway, well thank you
You
chat for being good and letting me know that you all lost my audio.
Yeah, we heard you were talking about you go to the red
Yes.
first.
Yes, yeah. So basically what I do is I code so I'll just pull one of these up. None of these have been coded yet. We'll pick the one with my best engineer stat here. So the way these are going to work is that I'm going to go through code in all of the little um, just name tags, and then this will then be loaded into a live tag into the live code to make this like accurately animate. I'm here looking at like, oh god, I had to learn way too much about how jets and spaceships worked. I ran into the classic writer problem of I have to write a really smart character and I have to make it now so that way I can make them sound smart.
That well, a good writer has to do that additional legwork, right?
Yes. So that's why I mean, to be fair, a lot of what is happening with Stet are things that they just sound really cool. So I get to talk about superluminal speeds and super maneuverability, um, and multi-directional nozzles and stuff. So I just make them sound very smart. as smart as I can anyway. But yeah, so you see there's this little yellow tag on these, which is shuffle. Basically, uh, um,
Darn.
you'll be able to you'll be able to play these 5 passages in any order that you feel like. I'm going to try to build in at least a little bit of interactivity where the order somewhat matters. But you will have to play all of them. You will get some extra scenes once you have played all of them. You will. These 2 are do require to be unlocked, and this is actually a 3 scene sequence. That's going to be very, very fun. We talked a little bit about monitor girlfriends. I am very much hoping I get to make good use of the fact that Twine can actively annoy the player to make it so that way our monitor girlfriend, Cyan, will actively annoy the player. It is bullying out of love and self and desire for Stet to practice self-care. Stet's not very good at practicing self-care sometimes when they're very involved in things. But anyway, thank you for letting me just kind of sit here and ramble about androids.
No, this has been great. Like, I'm very excited. Again, I really want to highlight to everyone that you will also be able to download this yourselves on
Yes.
itch.io once it's in. So, you don't have to feel rushed with anything you're seeing today. You can take your time and go through all of Scala's work here at your own pace. And you said there would be more in the future too.
Yes.
So not
Yeah.
just
So
chapter
this is
one, but
yeah. So
beyond.
yeah. So we're hoping to have So chapter 1 does the like I have a backup code over here in case anything goes wrong with chapter 2. Hi, this is this little backup code. If I can't get chapter 2 to work, I will release just chapter 1. But I'm hoping to do both 1 and 2 together. Just to kind of have because chapter 2 ends in a nice place. They both but chapter 1 and chapter 2 both end in nice places. Um and then yeah, the plan would be for 8 chapters in total.
Wow.
For the finish game. Which to be fair, there is a solid chunk of chapters 3, 4, and 5 written already. But then I realized that was too much. So I put chapters 6, 7, and 8 on the back burner. But I do hope I get a chance to finish it, to let people experience this game, to kind of finish out the character storylines, because we only get a little ways into them in this little demo slice. And I promise you that for the full game, I will have just the biggest space lesbians ever. I promise you.
That's great. Well, thank you. Thank you again for joining us this evening.
Happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone comes up with tomorrow.
Yes, yes, that's right. So tomorrow, everyone, at 9 p.m. Eastern, we will be showcasing all of the submitted games here on the Lady Arcaders channel, including this one right here, Entanglement. So thank you again, Scala. I appreciate you coming in and showing us this really it's honestly it's like a high level breakdown of one, how Twine works and how your process works. So thanks so much. We are going to take a quick break, but please stay tuned for some final day 3 lag jam comments. Express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who joined us for the day 3 Game Development Jam recap here on Lady Arcaders. A huge round of applause goes out to all the teams that participated tonight and shared their incredible game progress. It was a genuine pleasure to have you with us this evening. Keep up the amazing work. You are almost at the finish line, and we cannot wait to feature your submitted games live on the Lady Arcaders channel tomorrow night. And did you know that Lady Arcaders has a newsletter? If you want to read articles written by our members, keep up to date with our events, and find out what our community is doing, visit ladyarcaders.com/newsletter or type !newsletter into chat for a quick link. And of course, please make sure to tune in to Lady Arcaders tomorrow night for the Lag Jam Final Showcase, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. All submitted games from this event will be featured during the stream to be played by 3 lovely Lady Arcader community members. Lag Jam games will also be available on itch.io, which means you too can download them and play them for yourselves. I've said it every night. I'm going to be first in line. I cannot wait for these games. And finally, ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Warning, incoming game. Warning, incoming game. Please stick around and join us as we raid on over to Valk, who is doing some game development themselves. Have a wonderful night, everyone, and see you tomorrow.